Right, so Liverpool Football Club, it's safe to say, have officially entered crisis mode after their 3-0 defeat at the Amex by Brighton and Hove Albion. And don't worry, Liverpool fans, I share your pain. Welcome to the club, guys. Welcome to Crisis FC because, we're well and truly in the same boat here. But yeah, to be honest, I think that the situations between Chelsea and Liverpool are actually slightly different, to be honest. I think that Chelsea are a little bit more worse off in terms of the fact that, obviously the change of ownership. There seems to be just this attitude of Chelsea's ownership at the top right now to just spend money for the sake of it. Apparently, we're bidding 100 million for Mudryk to try and hijack his move to Arsenal. I think with Liverpool, it's a little bit more calculated and a little bit more understandable, I would say. And you can kind of pinpoint the issues more, I think, more than you can for Chelsea's problem at this moment in time. But yeah, in terms of Liverpool's issues, is the Klopp curse real? Maybe. Have this Liverpool team run its course? Quite possibly. To be honest though, I think that's kind of an easy thing to say, to be honest, and I think that the problem mainly boils down to one thing which I think has a lot of knock-on effects to it, and that is the midfield at Liverpool. Now obviously it gets spoken about by pretty much everyone who makes these sort of videos or speaks about this Liverpool situation at the moment, but I do truly believe that the main issue in terms of this Liverpool team is a lack of balance in the team, a pure imbalance in the team, and I think that stems from the midfield because if you know me, I'm a firm believer that midfield is absolutely everything in football, in modern day football. I think it's the most important position on the pitch, and I think if you don't have a good midfield, like we saw with Chelsea this season and over recent seasons, I don't think you have as much of a chance as teams that do have a completely balanced midfield. And you see that with Brighton, with Caicedo and McAllister. I mean, they're just absolutely unreal, to be honest, the two of them. But yeah, the midfield is the glaringly obvious issue, in my opinion, with Liverpool. I mean, if you look at it, there's a complete lack of support for both sides of the pitch, both in the attack for Liverpool and in the defence. First of all, I'll go on to the issue of it, being to the detriment of the defence. First of all, Trent Alexander-Arnold, of course, he got absolutely cooked today by Kaoru Mitoma. But to be honest, I think it's not really his fault, to be honest, because this is the way Trent Alexander-Arnold has played for ever since he's come into the Liverpool team in this system, to be honest. It's just the fact that Liverpool's lack of midfield at this moment in time is exposing him, to be honest. I think it's putting a lot more exposure onto his defensive frailties, and it's not really his role in this team. Obviously, by name and by nature, he's a defender, and a lot of, old school football fans will say he's a defender, he should be able to defend, but I don't think it's quite as simple as that, especially in this Liverpool system, which has worked wonders under Klopp in the last few years, obviously. And you see, normally what it is Liverpool have a midfielder, most notably Jordan Henderson in recent years, to cover Trent for when Trent wants to be a little bit more adventurous and wants to explore the pitch more and wants to ping those passes across the pitch or ping a ball into the box or just be an out-and-out playmaker at right back, really. And Jordan Henderson hasn't got the legs anymore. I don't think he's any use whatsoever in the Premier League, or for Liverpool anyway. I think his passing ability has completely, deteriorated in recent years, and yeah, he's just not good enough whatsoever. There's been a lack of form for Fabinho recently, even though he didn't play today. I mean, he's on a complete lack of form at this moment in time and isn't the same player as he was in recent years, because Fabinho is probably one of the best holding midfielders in the world, and this season it's been an exception to it because, yeah, he's been very poor. Then you have Thiago, who, yes, is an absolutely unbelievable footballer, but he's pretty much like a luxury player in this Liverpool team with the lack of midfield, because Thiago is a player that Liverpool should only be playing if they have a proper defensive midfielder and a proper midfielder like a Jordan Henderson when he was in his prime, or even a Jorginho Wijnaldum, who I think is massively missed in this Liverpool team for what he offered in terms of getting around the pitch, getting stuck in, and also being able to drive the ball forward. Just an out-and-out box-box midfielder next to Fabinho. And then you go and look at their, other options and their depth in midfield that they do have as well. I mean, Harvey Elliott, I'm kind of struggling so far to see what his purpose in the team is. I think he's a tidy player, but I'm not 100% sure what he offers really that much. Naby Keita obviously has been a little bit of a disaster, besides one or two, good moments over his career at Liverpool, and he looks to be leaving on the free in the summer. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain has been, phased back into the team recently, but again, doesn't really offer that much and is kind of past his best a little bit. Curtis Jones, is he good enough? Obviously come to the academy a few years ago, but yeah, Liverpool are really struggling depth-wise as well in midfield, and there's a massive clear-out needed there in my opinion, and they definitely need at least 3 or 4 players in terms of the whole squad, in midfield players just alone, really. Then you see as well with Liverpool's ridiculously high line that they like to play, and to be honest, I only think they get away with it when Konate plays. Even though Konate played today, I think he's actually a very good centre-back, and I think is definitely the future for Liverpool at the back. Van Dijk's lost a bit of his pace. Matip was never really that quick, to be honest, and even still has lost a bit of his pace. Joe Gomez has kind of been shielded out of the side a little bit. And yeah, when Liverpool do play the high line, they're going to need a midfield to support it, which they haven't got, as I keep saying, saying, at this moment in time. And at the same time, there's a massive imbalance in attack as well. I mean, there's no secret that Mo Salah has been completely off the boil this season. Obviously, Darwin Núñez has, in my opinion, actually been quite decent, but obviously there's been question marks over him and his compatibility with Mo Salah. And I think it obviously comes down to Sadio Mane leaving. There seems to be a complete, obviously, lack of dynamic and cohesion in that front three for Liverpool. Luis Diaz is out injured as well, who I think is a very big miss. They've signed Cody Gakpo, but obviously he's only new. He's going to need time to integrate himself into the Premier League and hasn't really been able to do much in these last 2 games. It's not really been his fault. And yeah, I mean, Liverpool got absolutely played off the park by Brighton, which is no real shame, to be honest, in them, because Brighton are a very, very good team and they have done that to quite a few teams this season. It's just how easy that Liverpool made it for Brighton, to be honest. And Brighton doing Olays from like the 60th minute, obviously it was 3-0 in the end and Brighton completely deserved it, maybe should have even scored more. It was just a complete black and white performance from Brighton to Liverpool, and Liverpool were absolutely outplayed for the whole 90 minutes, no question about it. And that would really worry me, to be honest, and it's whether Jurgen Klopp wants to stick around. I think he will want to stick around, but it's whether he has the tools at his disposal to turn it around, and whether these owners at Liverpool are willing to give him the money to buy 1 or 2 top class midfielders who can sort out his issue, and maybe 1 or 2 defenders as well with a little bit more pace that can cooperate obviously with this high line that Liverpool do like to play. And yeah, it does seem like a little bit of a change in system overall, especially given the summer transfer activity with Darwin Núñez coming in, who's just a completely different striker to Roberto Firmino, who obviously was the main man for Liverpool over the years in those successful Liverpool teams. So it's almost like Klopp trying to build his second team, if that makes sense. His first team obviously was successful in terms of winning the Premier League title, their first in the Premier League era, and obviously getting to 3 Champions League finals, winning 1 of them. It's now about building his second team for Klopp, and obviously you've seen that with players like Núñez and Thiago and Luis Diaz, who they've signed over the years, Konate, as I said. But yeah, it's a really interesting situation at Liverpool at this moment in time, and they haven't entered crisis mode in my personal opinion. They're only 3 points above Chelsea, which just says it all really, because as a Chelsea fan, it's been a completely depressing season for us, and in my opinion, it's only going to get worse for us, but that's besides the point. And yeah, I always thought they'd be fine, especially as the season went on. I always, up until now, really thought Liverpool would get top 4. I mean, I thought that it was just one of those things where, like in the COVID season when they were horrendous for a bit, losing a lot of home games. I think they lost 4 or 5 home games in a row or something, and they picked it back up, they scraped into top 4. That still could happen this season, but I think Liverpool have issues this season, to be honest. I really, really do, and it would be really interesting to see if they do achieve top 4 come the end of the season, but I think that they might struggle to get now at this stage, to be honest, and that's not easy for me to say really, because I've been backing Liverpool all season to get top 4, and it's the first real time this season that I've kind of said they might not get it, which is obviously worrying. But yeah, those are my thoughts and opinions on Liverpool's current situation after their 3-0 defeat to Brighton, which inspired me to do this video. Leave a like in the video if you did enjoy it. It would be massively, massively appreciated. And also, if you can subscribe to the channel as well, that would also be hugely appreciated, because we are looking to hit 1,800 subscribers on this channel as soon as we bloody well possibly can. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Welcome to the club, Liverpool fans. We've been expecting you. See ya.